WorldRider, the podcast edition. Podcasting. Who would have ever thought?
Welcome. Man, it's such a great day. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Allan, Karl, WorldRider, and you are listening to the Journeys with WorldRider podcast. And I'm so excited about my guest today. And this is kind of, first time here on the podcast. I mean, I've interviewed people from all walks of life, as you well know, but I kind of going back through my guest list, and I don't think I've ever had a lawyer, an attorney on the webcast. So why am I having an attorney or a lawyer on the webcast? Because this woman is not your ordinary attorney or law. So that's what we're going to talk about. Before I bring Kelly on, I want to tell you a little bit about her, and we're just going to jump right in it. So she's definitely not just an attorney, even though she lives very close to me here, Carlsbad, Oceanside, north of San Diego. She is an international award-winning corporate attorney. Kelly Bagla has been providing expert legal counsel to, obviously clients here in the U.S. and international clients for over 17 years. She's actually known as the Queen of Business Law. That's because she is passionate about helping entrepreneurs protect their assets through legal strategies. And we're going to talk about, because the Queen's got multiple, metaphors here, and we'll get into that. But she founded the Bagla Law Firm, a respected business formation and asset protection firm back in 2009. And since then, she has become the leading expert on advising business owners on how to navigate the legalities of starting, running, and even exiting a business. Kelly also founded this you guys want to check out. It's a do-it-yourself legal protection company called GoLegalYourself.com about 2016, and also has a book. Now it's in its second edition that kind of pairs up with that, Go Legal Yourself. And that talks about the phases of a business legal life cycle. And Kelly's going to have that. She's not only got that book, but she's got 3 other books. And she does a podcast. And it's really interesting because you know what today is? Today is International Podcast Day. We're recording it here on Thursday, September 30th. 2021. And even though we won't drop this probably till next week, we are recording in celebration for International Podcast Day, which, by the way, her podcast, Go Legal Yourself, you can find it on all the usual places, is a top 20 business law podcast. And Kelly's also garnered awards, and I'm not going to list everyone, but you can go to her website here, and you'll see she was Corporate Attorney of the Year in California, and also the Corporate Livewire named her as the Business Legal Professional of the Year. So there's so much, but let's not just talk about it. Let's bring in the woman that is Kelly Bagla. Kelly, welcome to the podcast.
Wow, what an introduction, Karl. I'm going to hire you for my marketing purposes.
Well, you know what? It's if people know listening here how excited I get when not only am I have the opportunity to just hang out with you for a little while again. I was a guest on Kelly's podcast, several weeks ago. So you're going to want to check.
You crushed it.
Yeah. And for people who want to know the website, it is GoLegalYourself.com. For those of you watching the video version of it, it's right there in the corner. There. And for those of you listening, make a note, get your pencil out. If you're out there jogging, it's a pretty easy one. Just go legal yourself. I mean, what a great name that is. So, Kelly, people listening right now, can you just say good afternoon, Allan?
Oh, well, good afternoon, Allan.
Listen to that accent.
Exactly. I know. Some people think I just put it on for them. But no, actually, I was born and raised in England, jolly old England.
Jolly old England. I really love that. So that's what I really want to first. We'll get into all the legal mumbo jumbo here in a minute, because that's really that's your juice. But my juice is this this international, meeting people from all over the world, and also learning. As I say, not only do I love listening and hanging out with you, but I always get to learn something. And in Go Legal Yourself, the second edition book, even I've run businesses, I've started up businesses, I've been through acquisitions, but I even learned something in this book. So anybody can go legal yourself. So tell me now, you actually, part of your brand, if I can be so loose in saying that, is that you are a you're not a natural born American citizen. You are an immigrant. You decided to make the United States of America your home, and in that way, you are a very unlikely, as I like to say, American entrepreneur. And I know that I know you're living the American dream and you're helping others. But one of those things I as I was reading through your stuff here is that you've actually had kind of an interesting awareness about maybe natural born citizens and how being an immigrant is a bit different. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. I'm going to start off with an analogy. The analogy would be if someone has eyes and they can read, but they don't read, as opposed to someone that's blind who wants to read. That's exactly the same analogy of people that are born here in this great, incredible country called America. And I have been so, so blessed, Karl, absolutely blessed to be able to live my American dream. And Allan, you say I'm an immigrant. Yes, that is true. But I am also an American. I have embraced the American way. If I can embrace the American way, not being born and raised here, the Americans that live here, that are born here, that are raised here, they should be crushing it every single day. This is
That's right.
truly the land of opportunities. It's absolutely the land of opportunities. Meaning, if you want to be your own boss, if you want to create your own business, if you want to move up in the corporate ladder, whatever your dream is, if you want to one day open a dog rescue sanctuary, whatever that dream is, it's you're absolutely able to do that here in this fantastic, great country. Think about other countries around the world. Now, I started off by saying, yes, I was born and raised in England. But I would never have been able to live my entrepreneurial life in England. England's not a third world country, but yet it doesn't offer the same opportunities. It's not entrepreneurial. Over time, it's somewhat becoming that way, but there isn't any other country that offers these opportunities to anyone from any walk of life. That's the beauty about this. That's the beauty. Anyone, doesn't matter if you're purple, red, green with pink dots, doesn't matter. You can be your own boss. You can be your own leader. You can, if you want to be a public speaker, you have something passionate you're about, that you're very passionate about, and you want to share that with the world. America allows that. You have a platform right here. And every single day, literally, I help individuals that want to create their own businesses. They want to become their own bosses. They want to be legally protected. And for the first 15 minutes, I'm talking to them as if we're just business owners. I don't talk to them as an attorney because I am a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur, Karl. Allan, I'm an entrepreneur. And it's amazing to be able to run your own business from anywhere and to live that life. It's so freeing. You know, you're not going to get a pink slip when you wake up the next morning, right? And you're out of there. And it's what an incredible life to live.
Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate that perspective, and sometimes I always like to say, well, travel is like going to school. You learn, you learn from other people, you learn from other cultures, you learn from opening your eyes to new things, and also to opening your eyes to trying new things, even in food, as we like to talk about too, and that perspective kind of gave you a bit of a vision. So I want to go back to what made you pull roots, pack up, and come to America in the first place?
My brother and sister were already out here, meaning in California. And I finished high school at the age of 16, which we all do in England. And mom and dad said, well, why don't you go out to the States and spend your summer there? And I absolutely fell in love with the place, absolutely fell in love. So I applied for my student visas and all that good stuff. And I went on to college, and then I went on to university. And then at the time, I'm thinking, this is incredible. No one's forcing you to go to school. It's completely up to you. I've always had a dream that I wanted to be a lawyer, Allan, at the age of 5. Don't ask me. I had no idea what a lawyer was at the age of 5. I had no idea. All I knew was I wanted to be one. And
Were there any other lawyers in your family at this time? I'm curious.
absolutely none. And there still isn't. I'm the only one.
Okay, continue.
So I did my schooling here, and I finished everything I had to. And I started my law career with one of the largest international law firms in the world. International, there's that word again.
Yeah, international.
And I loved what I was doing there. I learned from the best, right? These are individuals with brilliant minds around the world. So I really got to work on some international transactions, domestic transactions. And after a while, and my clientele, all I was working with were entrepreneurs. They had some fascinating ideas, some fascinating products and services. And at that time, I knew, okay, I also have an entrepreneurial spirit. I knew it. And especially because my dad, who migrated from India, northern part of India, with his family at the time to England, he started off in a denim factory on the line. He worked with workers on the line. And before you know it, Allan, he ended up owning the factory. He became the owner. Everyone loved him because he could relate to the people that were working on the factory line. And watching dad, I'm thinking, this is absolutely incredible. What a life to live. So after my experience with the big law firm, I decided, I'm thinking, okay, well, if I can do this for someone else, why can't I do it for myself? And I have had Bagla Law Firm now. We're going on. Soon we'll be celebrating our 12th year in law. As you said, I've been practicing for 17 years. I know I don't look that old. I know.
You look great, Kelly. For those of you listening, I'm sorry you can't see it. Go to the YouTube playback of this podcast, and you can see Kelly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then it's worth watching too. Oh, by the way, I'm really modest as well. Right. I'm really modest, Allan. You know that about me.
Well, yes. Well, and I, as a mutual friend of ours, David Hatfield, as he's said, that you are the female version of me in many ways, because of your bubbly personality, because of your modesty, because of your global reach. And even when you signed my book, it says here, for those of you, I've got a signed copy of Kelly's Go Legal Yourself book, which, by the way, is Know Your Business Legal Life Cycle. It says, Allan, from your female version. So two peas in a pod here, I guess. Huh?
I should have said with hair.
with hair, right?
With hair, right. With a lot of hair.
a lot of hair. Something I definitely seem to have a little bit of a absence of, for sure. But my dad used to say, who's also an entrepreneur, grass doesn't grow on a busy street. So
there you go. Love it.
I love that story of your dad working in a denim factory, working on the line, and climbing the steps, if you will, his own steps, or maybe he used a ladder, or maybe he climbed a rope. However, we all do that, and became the owner of that factory. I'm curious, because you help entrepreneurs, and people interested in doing a startup, as well as mature businesses, of course. But how many of those people who have that juice in them do you feel come from a line of entrepreneurs in their family? Because I think there is something in our DNA about people that want to work for themselves versus maybe if your father or your family had a history of, well, working in big banks or working for big airlines, whatever it might be, working in the corporate world.
Mhm.
um, what do you see? I mean, I'm not looking for actual statistics, but is there a sense that most of the people you work with are coming from a line of entrepreneurs?
I think absolutely not, actually.
Interesting.
Absolutely not. Usually, they are either the first ones that have decided to go out and create their own path to success. Now, everyone defines success in their own way, whatever that definition is for you. If it's living the life of being an entrepreneur, you have a passion. See, there's two things that you need as an entrepreneur. And I speak on this all the time, just like you, Alan. I am a public speaker as well.
Mhm.
And I think people would rather come listen to me just because of my accent. That's all. That's all, Alan. But the the two things that each and every entrepreneur has, and you have this too. One, you need confidence. Confidence meaning confidence in what you believe in. What is your passion? What are you bringing to the table? It can be anything. It can be necklaces made out of glass. It can be anything. But if you put your passion behind it, that's what people buy. They buy your excitement. They buy your confidence. They buy your passion, whatever you bring into the table. The other thing that each and every entrepreneur must have: pearls. I am a lady, so I will not use the other word, but you have to have pearls. You have to, because entrepreneurs are cut from a different cloth. We don't get up and go to a steady job that we know the paycheck is guaranteed. We have no idea where our paycheck's coming from, but we have confidence in ourselves to know that we can go out and kill whatever we need to eat that day. That's why you need pearls to be out there, to talk to people, to really bring your passion. That's what it's all about. Being an entrepreneur is selling your passion. If you believe in yourself and your product, it's easy to sell to anyone else.
Yeah, you make a very good point. Is you cannot. I do believe this. Be successful if you cannot believe in yourself and believe in your product and what you can offer, and don't compromise on that. And that's, and as you identify appropriately, is that's confidence that is just something that you've got to have in order to be successful. I mean, you work with so many different kinds of people, but I want to talk about golegalyourself.com because you not only are you a practicing business lawyer here in California, you are kind of helping people in the DIY kind of mode. Well, how can you not necessarily represent yourself, but make sure, as you say, that you're legally protected, and you've developed a set of tools. Tell us about the idea behind golegalyourself.com. Did the book come first? Did the website come first? And how are people using that to help them achieve their goals?
So this goes back to clients coming to me already incorporated their businesses by using other online businesses. And every single time I have to redo the paperwork. Why? Because one, it's not representative of what they are trying to achieve. And two, they can't tell these companies that this is what they want to do and what type of entity should they be, because these companies are not law firms. And I'm thinking, okay, well, there's so much misinformation out there, and especially Google, right? You can Google anything and not necessarily get the exact same, well, get the actual right answer, especially when it comes to legal. And then if you have a question pertaining to legal, your only other option is to call a lawyer. And clearly, that's going to cost you a lot of money. So I decided to set the record straight as far as what is it that you need as a business owner to start, run, and grow your business the right way. The only reason why one would incorporate is when they get sued. It's not if, it's when, especially in California. When they get sued, are they going to lose their personal assets? Well, the way these companies, these online companies, are creating these legal packages for entrepreneurs, yes, they will get sued personally. Absolutely. So I thought, okay, every business is going to go through the same life cycle, a legal life cycle. You've got the startup phase, which is a exciting time, right? And you've got the growth phase. That can be really exciting too. You have the established phase, which is the third phase. And the most important phase out of all of those is the exit phase, because that's going to set you up for your retirement. I don't know what that retirement looks like. Either you can pass your business on to family members or your children, or you can sell it for millions. But somebody's not going to stick around and wait for you to get all your legal ducks in a row until you're ready to sell. No, they're going to take their millions and walk off somewhere else, maybe down the road. So I want to educate the entrepreneur. Again, I'm an entrepreneur, so I've written it from my perspective. And it's not written in legalese, so you don't have to consult with a lawyer to understand what I've written. So, it was just simply laid out. What are the questions that entrepreneurs ask? And these are the answers. And that's exactly what I did in the book. And then I'm thinking, okay, now I'm giving them the answers, but they'll need the tools too. So that's when I said, I'm going to create a startup package and a legal and a growth package for these entrepreneurs that don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to go see a law firm just to create their business, their startup business. So these documents that I have online, Allan, these are the same documents that I use with my clients that want to hire me personally rather than do it yourself. But the do it yourself is more for those types of entrepreneurs that just want to get going. They don't want to deal with law firms or attorneys. They have everything there. And it's been one of my true accomplishments. Again, it's one of my passions. I want to arm entrepreneurs with what they need to know before they step into the business world, because you could lose everything in a heartbeat, and many have. So I'm here. I'm their legal friend, right? That's what I say on the podcast. Go legalyourselfpodcast.com. I say to them, I'm your legal friend. Reach out to me. I love talking to entrepreneurs. You have legal questions, give me a call. I'm available. So again, it's about taking full advantage of this incredible country that we live in. Anyone can become an entrepreneur and start their own business, but do it correctly. So when you do get sued, you're not going to lose everything. You're not going to lose your personal assets. Your spouse isn't going to leave you because you've just put them in danger too. So it's anything that you do it correctly. That's my advice.
Do it correctly.
Do it correctly.
So so the book came first, which is kind of what I thought. That now in the second edition, and I bet you're already working on the third edition because the world of business law is constantly evolving, right?
Actually, Allan, I am working on a book, and it's just going to be fun. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. May I share the title with you?
Oh, please, yeah.
And I'm hoping to release this for Christmas. And that way, it'll be a fantastic gift for anyone to give to anyone who wants to start a business or is even in a business and running it. The title is Legally Armed, a survival guide for the modern business warrior.
Well, I am. I'm writing it down, typing it out. You can tell what I'm doing right now. Let's see if we can actually. Let's see if I can. I might have to do it this way. Let's see. Okay.
So I'm in the process of writing that book as we speak. Look at that. And I use some very powerful words there. Why? Again, you have to be confident in what you believe.
Being confident in what you believe.
Breaking news. I love it. I love it. New book. Love it.
It's breaking news here on the WorldRider podcast. Kelly's got a new book coming out. That's fantastic. We'll put information in the show description and links to all of Kelly's various entrepreneurial outlets that she's got. When I read your introduction and certainly I didn't mention you brought up, and I want to highlight that as well as a few other things, that you are also a professional speaker and you speak on the business law, and you also are an expert and have been called on by television stations, blogs, websites to provide opinion and analysis on legal issues. So you're not just out there creating these kits, helping clients. You really are doing a lot of stuff. So I'm super impressed with that. But as the queen of business law, and I mentioned that at the beginning, that's a multi-metaphor, because certainly when we think of queen, you can think of the queen bee, you can think of the queen of the country where you came from, as a monarch, if you will, that is a patriarch of business, of families, of all of this stuff. But you also use the metaphor of a chess game of strategy in talking about the 4 phases of your business legal lifestyle. And by the way, I see that that we talk about a business legal life cycle, she goes through the 4 phases, and go legal yourself, know your business life cycle, your business legal life cycle. But I will tell you now, I've read the book. It's not just a book about laws, legal matters, attorneys. It's a business book, because not only is it helping you be legally protected, but there are branding ideas. There's ideas on employee retention. There's growth initiatives, financing, certainly exit strategies and plans. It's got all the legal stuff you need to know about, patents, trademarks, business structures, corporations. But I think most importantly, it's a book, it's a tool for the entrepreneur, certainly for people who are undergoing a startup, to get you to you may be a great coder and you've got the greatest next app, but you didn't go to any legal classes there at MIT or Caltech, but you've got the coolest new little app or online business. So this book can help them. And I think also for mature businesses, like I said, I picked up a couple things. Oh, that was good on there. So talk to us about using the chess board and the chess pieces, because certainly one of the most important pieces in chess. I mean, obviously, it's not the king protecting the queen, in chess. It is actually the queen who protects the king. So how did this come about? I mean, are you a chess player? Are you talk about that metaphor and how that helps people kind of take a trip through their business success and their life cycle.
Absolutely. The title Queen of Business Law was actually given to me, Allan, by my clients. So they affectionately call me the Queen of Business Law. One, because yes, I was born and raised in England and I have this funny accent, right? So hence the Queen. But running a business, even starting a business, anything to do with business, it's all strategy. All of it is. It's as if you want to go and compete in a kickboxing competition, right? Are you just going to show up hoping that you don't get kicked and you don't get taken out within the first round? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to do your homework. You're going to find someone to train you. You're going to train as hell. And then you're going to show up, because why? You're going to be confident that you are going to be a winner and you're going to participate. Same thing with business. You don't just get up one day and say, okay, I'm going to start my business. What do? I need to file my articles with the state. That's not how it's done. It's all through strategy. Same concept as chess. You always have to think 3 or 4 moves ahead. So that's why knowing your business legal life cycle, that strategy for you, it's all laid out in the book, like you just said. It's all laid out. What do you need to do in the startup phase? How do you even pick a name? These are some of the little tidbits that I talk about, which are extremely important. Do you pick a name and start doing your business without doing any research on it? In fact, if that's what you do anticipate a cease and desist letter from someone from across the country saying that, hey, we've been using that name for years. You can't use it. So there's a strategy behind everything, from picking your name, from owning the domain name, from incorporating. What type of incorporation should you be? How do you bring on employees? How do you bring on investment money? How do you prepare for growth? So it's all strategy. And that's why I use chess as the backbone or the basis or the foundation for this book. Plus, Allan, the beauty about being the queen of the chessboard is the queen actually moves in any which direction she wants to. Nothing holds her back because she's got a set of pearls on her, right? Plus,
Yes.
Plus, she's the one that looks out for the king. She's the one that's protecting the king. So the way I run my law firm, and they always have done, I always look out for my clients. So my clients are the king in this situation. I'm the queen. I can move in any direction, and every single time I always do protect my clients.
That's awesome, because you do have this very well-rounded background that goes beyond just legal briefs and the law. You really take I guess I would call it a holistic look at a business and the strategy through those phases. So that's awesome. So your journey, as I like to say here on the Journeys with WorldRider, has been quite a spectacular one, because you came here just going to spend a summer for hanging out with your siblings, to planting your seeds right here and building a number of businesses, and all along the way, as a foreigner, as an immigrant on here, really having a identify what a gift that we Americans, we people who are citizens of the United States, have at our disposal in this country. And wow, that's a real powerful position to be in there.
Yes, and Karl, talking about, loving this country is not bad. Just ask any immigrant, right? There are people literally dying to be here. But yet, the Americans that are born and raised here, why aren't they taking advantage of the opportunities that this great, incredible country offers every single day? It doesn't matter who's in the White House. It has no effect on what kind of life you want to live. Enough with the excuses. Everyone's going to have an excuse. If you have an excuse, oh, I wish I could do that. Guess what? You can do that. It all just takes one step. That's all. Make that move. Get up tomorrow, right? If your dream is to own your own business, start working towards that, because no one's going to hand it to you. No one handed me anything. Allan, nothing at all. And in fact, this journey is so incredible. It gets better every single day. And it's always incredible, especially when you have dogs in your life. Highly, highly, highly recommend your listeners to get dogs. Highly. They are
And by the way,
companions.
how many dogs do you have now?
Yes, I have 3 at the moment. And in fact, today on International Podcast Day, I am going down to a rescue, and I have to mention this rescue. And please, Allan, include the link to this rescue, because it's all heart. The rescue is called Thrive Animal Rescue. It's in San Diego, and they have some beautiful, beautiful dogs that just need someone to love them. They need a home. And I'll be going down there today, and my husband and I and our 2 big girls, we're going to go and see this dog. She's probably about 40 pounds already. She is probably 5 months old.
Oh, wow.
She's going to be a big girl. And if we can give such a loving creature like that a beautiful home and bring her into our home, that's what we're going to do. And that's really where my heart belongs. And the big goal here, why I work so hard every day, Allan, is because one day I want to open Four Paws Resort. It will be a forever home for dogs. That's where my heart truly belongs.
Wow, that's so cool. Wow. It's interesting. At the beginning of the pandemic, remember how all of these shelters and all of these rescue, the adoption agencies for animals, dogs and cats, were running out of animals, because everybody, staying at home, wanted that companion, a project, a love, someone to give more love to take care of, while we couldn't go anywhere. And so it's so nice to see that you, on International Podcast Day, will be bringing a 4th canine into your family.
Yes, and a really sad statistic that I just learned as well, because I will be getting involved with this Thrive Animal Rescue. It's a nonprofit, and the sad statistic, Alan, is that all those people that went out and got an animal and a dog during COVID, they're returning them. They're returning them back to the shelters because now they can go out and travel and they don't want the dog anymore. It's beyond heartbreaking.
Oh,
Beyond. It's
wow.
horrible. It's hard.
Wow.
And if I may say this on your show, people do suck. You know, they
Yeah, people suck.
I've never had an opinion in my life, right?
No, not Kelly. No way.
No, not shy Kelly. No, but seriously, Anna, people really need to understand the magnitude about what a dog can bring to your life. If everyone that was depressed owned a dog, you wouldn't have anyone depressed. You wouldn't have them on pills and medication. They would be loving life. Life is too short, right? We all know that. You should own every single day. When you wake up in the morning time, the devil should be saying, "Oh crap, she's up." That's exactly what happens every morning when I wake up, right? I own the day. This is the only way to live. Be thankful. Thank God that you're here every day. It's a gift that you have. Life is a gift. And for you to live it to the fullest every day, it's a gift back that you're giving to God. So that's my message. That's where my heart belongs. And it's just been absolutely incredible having you and knowing you, Allan. And, you know, I really look forward to doing more podcasts with you because I know I'm going to have you back. We've had some great feedback from your episode.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, I had so much fun. Well, you know, you've got such great energy, and I have to dig in. I've put the Thrive Animal Rescue San Diego for those of you in Southern California. You looking for a pet? Go see them, and if you're a lover of pets, maybe even make a donation to their foundation and help more animals find loving homes for sure. And you know, as I'm a cat lover, and I say this to my, you know, and by the way, my brother and my sister-in-law, my family back in Washington DC in the beginning of the pandemic did get a rescue dog, little black one named Brooklyn. She's a cutie, and they are definitely not letting that cat. I mean, I get how many Snapchats a day with that dog on there. They love that dog, so they're definitely not giving it away. So that's that. There's a and they also have a cat too. So they brought a dog into a cat's house. So that's good. But as a traveler, who I go for months at a time, you know, that's the worst thing you could do to a dog, is to leave them alone. And I certainly don't have the means to take them with me on a motorcycle. Although there have been people who have done that, by the way. There are. So I go with the feline route because, you know, as a cat, the cat, you know, sometimes is a little indifferent, but then other times, come on, give me love. I'm in your face. Just as we were setting up this podcast before we were in the green room before coming here live, one of my cats, Dar, is like walking in front of the camera, the tail's wagging, and he's rubbing the monitor. And it's like, you're not going to look at Kelly. You're going to look at me, Dar.
There you go. I'm the only girl in your life right now.
Yeah. So Four Paws Resort, because you mentioned that's your dream, and I'm just curious, top line, what would that look like?
That would look like a whole bunch of love. It would be happy tails, wet noses. We would look after senior dogs that people don't want anymore, because the greatest thing you can do as an individual, and we're able to do that, and that's why we truly were born as well, is part of being a human, is to do something nice for someone else. When you help someone, it can be a person, it can be a dog, it can be a cat, it could be a senior person or a senior dog, is to give them the life that they truly deserve. I see dogs as four-footed angels, because that's exactly what they are. Back in early of 2020, when I guess the pandemic was just starting, I had lost the love of my life, my Bella. She was my boxer, and I lost her to cancer. And I was just absolutely beside myself. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't eat. And you know me, Allan, I'm a very strong person. But that just brought me down to my knees. And I had another dog, a pit lab, a lady, and she was besties with Bella, and she was just beside herself. And
Oh
at that
yeah.
time, I thought, look, I need to bring someone into our life, and all that pain that I had in my heart, I just transferred all of that into love in rescuing Shelby. Shelby had never had a home before. I had to learn. I had to learn how to connect with a dog that has never had a home, has always lived in shelters. Now, if you see her, she is calm. She is just a love bug. She's fit into our pack, right? That's what we become. We're a pack. And I just couldn't imagine life without her now. And it's not about who rescued who. It works both ways. I rescued her in the same moment she rescued me from all that pain, because all that pain turned into training and love that I put into Shelby. And whatever you do, it truly is a reflection of you, right? If you want to go out and volunteer somewhere, go do it. Get out of your own head, right? Get out of your own space. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Life is way too short. Nobody cares, and you shouldn't either. Again, own every single day. Go do something nice for someone. But Four Paws Resort is definitely going to be open to all dogs that are abandoned, that are senior dogs, that people don't want anymore. Again, people suck. But
Mm.
I would embrace each and every dog with open arms, because that's the greatest gift that God could give us. Truly, I believe that is our dogs.
That's giving love to, obviously, to other humans is important, but giving love to animals is absolutely because they just give that love right back to you. And I know both of my cats are also rescued. They just showed up in my yard. Abandoned cats. One of them, Dice, clearly had been kicked, been probably slapped, because you just try to put your hand towards. Even now, I've had that cat almost 2 years. If I go like this, he still flinches, and that just
Mhm,
makes
mhm.
cringes my heart every time. Because yes, people that abuse animals, they suck. They do, for sure. Yeah.
They need to be put
But
out. I'm not
yeah,
condoning violence on the show. I'm really not. But yes, absolutely. There's zero need for that. There's
be
no reason whatsoever.
be kind to everyone, everything, everyone, whether it's an animal, whether it's somebody that doesn't look like you. Just be kind. It's such an easy thing to do, and man, it just really fills your own heart and soul with just tingling goodness.
And the
Absolutely.
greatest thing about that too, Alan, the greatest thing, it's all free.
Yeah.
It's all free. It doesn't cost you anything at all to be kind, to do a
Yep.
good deed for someone. Do it and feel just feel how great that makes you feel. It's kind of selfish, actually, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. It is. So this is good. So there are new projects in Kelly's future. As we've been talking here. Wow, can you look at the time? It just passes. We could talk for hours, and we will have to get you back here. But I always, in every podcast, try to remember to ask my guests what I call the Curious Seven for the WorldRider podcast. This is my curiosity about my guests. I've got seven questions that I ask everyone. Actually, the seventh one is usually something specific to the guest. So you don't need to overthink these. This is almost like shotgun. Boom, 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 boom. So let's start right off. You ready?
I am. I was born
Uh,
ready.
I love it. What's your favorite travel movie?
That would have to be From Paris with Love.
Okay, great. Book you'd recommend to any traveler. And by the way, it doesn't have to be a travel book. And you can't say go legal yourself, because we're already telling people to get this. So book for you, recommend any traveler. Doesn't have to be a travel writer or that.
It would be any books written by Zig Ziglar. Any books.
Zig Ziglar. Absolutely. Speaking of one of the greatest speakers around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The longest airline flight that you ever endured.
That would be to India.
Okay.
I've been
Do
to
you remember
India
how many hours
once.
it was?
Oh my God, it was 23 hours, but there was a
Oh,
stop. Yes,
okay.
yes. I would
But
never do
still,
it again.
okay. You've also traveled a lot. You live in, like, here we live in the best place in the world, I think, in North San Diego, but you've traveled around the world in different places. Where have you found the best street food?
That would have to be in Rome.
Ah, in Rome. Nice, nice.
Yes,
I do.
yes.
Hey, if you ever had to live in any other country, you immigrated to the USA, but let's just say one day it's like, someone just says, we got to go. You got to go. What country would you live?
America. No. It would be Scotland.
Scott.
Definitely Scotland.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Now, is there a country or a place that you have no interest in returning to, and why?
I have no interest in going to China.
Okay. And why?
Yes. And the reason why, well, I've never been there, but I've got no
Okay.
interest to go there.
Okay.
And I I don't know why. I just know that I've got no interest going to China.
That could change probably in the future, couldn't that possibly? Okay,
Or
so now
or not.
or not. Yeah. Yeah. I was in China a few years ago, and we filmed an episode of a TV show, and
Yeah.
it hasn't been released yet, but we're in the middle of editing it. So I hope to release that maybe in November if we can get this going. We're all juggling a lot of things, and it's something that I think will open some eyes to some people in China. So you help entrepreneurs. You are helping through their legal business legal life cycle, and I am curious, is out of all the entrepreneurs, what was either the most weird, unique, or interesting product or startup service business that you encountered in working with clients all over the world?
One of the products was glasses. It was a pair of sunglasses. However, it was more for the people that were in the trade. So, for example, if you're on a telephone pole and you had to fix something up there, you'd put these glasses on and you could interact with the office, and they can see exactly what you're seeing, and you could fix. They could tell you exactly what the issue was, and so you could fix it right there, and then it was live. They didn't get enough funding. I thought it was
Uh,
such a cool product, but it didn't go anywhere.
It didn't go anywhere. Yeah, and that obviously that leaves you for hands free, because you
Exactly.
could do that with your phone right nowadays. I mean, I don't know when this was, but by having those glasses on, you now have your hands free, and
Exactly.
very, very interesting, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I always do at the end of a podcast say to my guests, "Do you have anything that you wanted to ask me, or more importantly, is there something I should have asked you that I haven't yet?"
I would love to ask you, and I believe you've answered this on my show, but you're a world traveler, Alan. You have met different types of people, you have eaten all different types of food, you have experienced different types of events. What was one of your most memorable events?
Yeah, there's so many. I can tell you the time that I went to a gas station in Syria. That, first of all, the pumps were all rotten, rusting, and they didn't have dials that could count how many liters you would get. And the pavement was all cracked, and grass and weeds were coming through up. And there was this building where, in the dark, as I rode and kind of circled, I'm like, "Can I get any fuel here?" And there are three men sitting around a big steel desk. If you remember those steel desks, probably from the 50s or 40s, and they were sitting around a big platter of salad. It was like a Mediterranean kind of a fattoush salad, and there's a stack of flatbread next to them. And I kind of lift up the visor of my helmet, and I looked in there, and one of the men catches my eye, and he says, "Come here." I'm like, "Oh, he speaks some English." So I park the bike and I come in there, and they just the two other guys couldn't speak a stitch, and his English was not very great, but he convinced me enough to grab a chair and sit down and grab a piece of bread and eat some of that salad, and then they filled my tank with gas, and it's just, I think of, because this is probably 6 months before the all hell broke loose in Syria, and when you think of Syria, that image, is such a contrast to what we know and see today. But deep down, it really makes my heart pang for those people, because they, in this gas station, and it was not just the gas station, those people, the Arabic people in Syria that I met, and throughout the Middle East, were, even those that had so little, were always willing to give so much, and that was an incredible situation. And I won't jump in, but I'll just say I just really enjoyed outrunning the cops in Egypt, and you'll have to get my book to read that story, because I won't share the whole thing.
Forks, right? And I'm still waiting, Allan. I'm still waiting for my signed copy.
Well, I think we got to do lunch again, because I think
Yes.
it needs to be a hand deliver. So let's do that. We'll circle back on that. Okay, well, we've been talking with Kelly Bagla of GoLegalYourself.com, author of 4 books, also the charming American entrepreneur who has really brought a lot of joy and opened up a new side of her that I didn't know I knew that you were a dog lover, but your passion for that new project, I'm going to send lots of good energy and good vibes on that. And when you get that going, let me know, and we'll go there and do a podcast live on site.
I was going to say that. I was just going to say that. We have to have you on site. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. So, well, we didn't get to a lot of stuff, I'm sure. But we have to leave something for next time. But I want to thank you for coming on the Journeys with WorldRider podcast. I appreciate you, and it's so great to share your story with the listeners here on the WorldRider podcast.
Thank you so much, Allan. Such a pleasure, and it was just thank you for giving me this platform. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is Allan Karl. You've been listening to the Journeys with WorldRider podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you. Make sure you do leave a review, subscribe to the podcast, and be ready, because we've got amazing guests. Maybe not quite as amazing as Kelly next time, but we always do. Thank you so much for tuning in.